I said, God, I do not understand this world. Everything is dying and broken. Why do I see nothing but suffering? God, I'm asking, could this be your plan? Sin has taken hold of this whole land. Will you not say anything else to me?
Job 27, verses 1 to 6. And Job continued his discourse. As surely as God lives, who has denied me justice? The Almighty, who has made me taste bitterness of soul, as long as I have life within me. The breath of God in my nostrils, my lips will not speak of wickedness, and my tongue will utter no deceit. I will never admit you are in the right. Till I die, I will not deny my integrity. I will maintain my righteousness and never let go of it. My conscience will not reproach me as long as I live.
Hello and welcome to day 3 in a series of reflections and questions raised by the book of Job. On Monday we gave an introduction to the book and looked at some of the questions it raises. Yesterday we looked at the depiction of Satan and looked at some of the questions that raises. And today we will be looking at the main character in the book, Job, and once again consider some related questions. Most of the best stories have one main character or hero or protagonist whose individual story drives the main story forward. And it is as we follow events through the eyes of that individual that we get to see something of how they see themselves, how they see their world, and in this case, how they see God. As well as clearly being depicted as a good man, and indeed, in the story, he is endorsed as such by God himself, we also see in Job a man who has what could be seen as the marks of a successful or blessed life. Alongside being presented as devout in his devotion to God, he has family, he has wealth, he has health. But of course, in the story, this is all taken away from him. Upon losing both his family and the family business, Job seems to handle it with a remarkable attitude. Although clearly stricken with grief, he is hanging on to his faith in the midst of that. We read, "At this Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, 'Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised.'" But it is when Job's emotional pain is matched by physical pain and his suffering intensifies further that we really see him begin to struggle. He does not seem to doubt the existence of God, but his understanding of how life works and how his faith works and why God is at best permitting his family, wealth and health to be taken from him is obviously deeply troubling. But a more troubling question for Job may be caused by the belief that God is not just allowing this to happen to Job, but he is causing it. For in Job's understanding at that time, it had been the Lord that gives and the Lord that takes away. Why had God now took so much from him? What had he done to deserve this? As we go through the book and we see Job's responses both to God directly and to his religious friends, we see that his faith goes up and down and all over the place. I wonder if any of you can relate to that. At one point, Job writes, "I cry out to you, God, but you do not answer. I stand up, but you merely look at me. You turn on me ruthlessly. With the might of your hand, you attack me." So some questions. Do you believe that it is always the Lord that gives and takes away? Has the way that you see life changed over the years? To what degree has that been the result of what you have experienced? Has the way that you see God changed over the years? To what degree has that been the result of what you have experienced? And finally for today, in the midst of what may be your pain, your suffering, your complaint, how do you feel about doing what Job eventually did and expressing your thoughts and feelings directly to God?
He said, "Where were you the day that I measured, sunk the base and stretched the line over all the earth and carved out its cornerstone? Where were you the day that I spoke and told the sun to split the night open, called the morning dawn with its light to show? Who shut